Hello, everyone. Wendy Myers here from live to110.com. Thank you so much for joining us on the Live to 110 podcast. I'm so excited about today's podcast. We had Connie Zack of Sunlighten Saunas. You can learn more about sunlighten.com. And she's just a wealth of information on the scientific backed benefits of using infrared saunas. They're so amazing. And I really think they're a crucial component to use on a regular basis for anyone who plans to live to 110 disease-free and living a healthy life without medications and suffering that revolving door through doctor after doctor's office and debilitating disease. You have to sweat out all the metals and 700 chemicals on average that we have in our bodies if you plan to be healthy. And an infrared sauna is one of the most crucial components that people need to have and add to their health regime if they want to be healthy, because our bodies they're not equipped to detox all the metals and chemicals that we have. They're just entering our body at too fast a rate. They're not able to get out of our bodies quick enough. Our bodies are just not evolutionarily designed to deal with all these chemicals and metals that we have in our body that are being unleashed from the earth, from industry and whatnot. So important to get into a sauna. And Connie is going to talk to us today about the benefits and a lot of distinctions between a regular sauna that you have at your gym and near far and mid infrared rays. Such a lot of interesting information in today's podcast. But please keep in mind that this podcast is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease or health condition and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. The Live to 110 podcast is solely informational in nature, so please consult your healthcare practitioner before engaging in anything that we suggest today on the show. Connie Zack is co-owner and chief sales officer of Sunlighten. She started the business in a basement in 1999. Her husband and co-founder, Aaron Zack, is the company's CEO. Together, the Zacks have led Sunlighten to tremendous growth since those basement days. Before starting Sunlighten, Connie held positions at Procter & Gamble, ranging from alternative marketing manager, district pharmaceutical sales manager, and gastrointestinal national manager. During her 11 years at Procter & Gamble, she made her way into the P&G Leadership Group, a collective of elite staff groomed for future executive positions, and onto the P&G Women's Board, a mentoring program for junior level female staff. We're so happy she moved away from pharmaceuticals and into the health field, because she is helping so many people improve their health and their life dramatically. Connie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and your background?
I would love to. Sunlighten started about 16 years ago, and it was a result of my brother being on his deathbed, very, very, very sick. And one of his, a friend as well as a dentist recommended far infrared heat as a way to pull out the toxic elements that were stored in his body. And that is how the company got started. And I was working at Procter & Gamble in the pharmaceutical division and saw this transformation in my brother, and he wanted to make a difference and I wanted to make a difference. And so we started Sunlighten, and our mission which it still is to leave the world a healthier place as a result of our products.
Yeah, and you have a fantastic product. I used a Sunlighten sauna for about a year when I first started using saunas, and I would go to my Pilates gym where they did Pilates, and they had an infrared sauna, and it was a Sunlighten Impulse, and it was just a fantastic sauna, and I got really good results from it. And so tell us about Sunlighten. Tell us about your saunas and how things are going.
Thanks. Well, I'll start with Impulse, since you mentioned that. We're so proud of bringing this product to market. We brought it to market about 6 years ago, but it's really the only place where you can get all three infrared wavelengths in the same place. And the value of that is each wavelength provides different healing benefits to the body. So there's the longest wavelength, which is the far infrared, which goes deep into the body, transforms the cells, gets you that core temperature increase that you need to fight disease. And then there's a mid-infrared that doesn't go as deep, and that is awesome for fighting inflammation and reducing pain and helping with weight loss and burning calories. And then the near-infrared, which we call like the natural Botox, which helps with skin rejuvenation and wound healing, as well as reducing inflammation at the top of your skin. We put that all together with 3 different venues inside one beautiful impulse cabin. And there's 6 different programs. Depending on what you're looking for, you can just press a button and you can turn on the cardio program or the weight loss or the anti-aging or the relaxation. And we have put together a program that will target those conditions, and you'll feel dramatically better after just one session.
Yeah, I always did the weight loss program. I was like, yes, I'll take that. Thank you very much. So let's go back to some basics. So how are infrared saunas different from traditional saunas? So a lot of people think of, oh, I'm using a sauna. I use a sauna at my gym. So how is that very much different from an infrared sauna?
So the saunas that are typically seen in the gym use traditional heat, like the heat that's outside. That is, if when it's really hot, sometimes it's hard to breathe, and it can be a little bit oppressive, or it can be really humid. Our heat is infrared, that is healing heat that goes deep into your body. So it's focusing on heating your body versus heating the air. So the reason that you're sweating is you're sweating because your body is hot, not because the air is hot. So it's a different type of sweat. It's like that same type of sweat consistency when you have a fever and it breaks and you get this like boost of sweat that comes out, and all like almost immediately you're like, oh my gosh, like I feel so much lighter, I feel so much better, my head feels clearer. That is the same type of mechanism that Sunlighten uses with our far infrared and mid infrared and near infrared heat.
And so how are Sunlighten saunas different from like all the other far infrared saunas you see out there? So I want to talk about a lot of the differences because, you know, when you go on Amazon, you'll see a far infrared sauna with people's heads sticking out. And then there's biomats and there's all kinds of different products out there. So how is Sunlighten different from the other guys?
Yeah. Well, I mean, all heat is good, but you know what we've really tried to do, Wendy, is target and be efficient with our wavelength. So we found a way, and we've patented our technology. We found a way to precisely deliver as much of the healing wavelength as possible. So we've taken out all of the excess, what I call convectional heat, the hot air, and we're just focusing on the healing part, the healing energies of each wavelength. And then we patented that. So you can get peace of mind when you're using a Sunlighten product that you're getting the most effective and most efficient delivery system. You're not spending time in something that's getting more convectional heat than infrared heat, which a lot of those products that are really inexpensive that you can see on the internet, they give you a little bit of infrared heat, but the majority of it is what you see outside or what you see in a gym. It's hot air, and it's not going deep into the body to transform your body. And so the sweat isn't the same consistency as a fever sweat. It's just a regular sweat. And so we give you that healing sweat and you feel so much better and so much lighter with just complete rejuvenation.
Yeah, and I'm not a fan of the saunas where your head sticks out because you need infrared sauna on your head as well. There's a lot of toxins in there and infections in the sinuses and yeast in your ears and all kinds of things that can be cooked in the sauna and killed and detoxed. So you need to cook your head also. in my opinion. And so can you talk a little about the benefits of infrared sauna and all the many things that infrared sauna accomplishes for your health?
Yeah, so about, 11 years ago, when we really started to dive into this, deep into this journey with science, there was a study that was done with our product at University of Missouri, Kansas City. And it was done with a healthy population. But we found out with using our product 3 times a week that you could significantly lower blood pressure remove toxic elements such as mercury, cadmium, lead. There was somebody who had arsenic in their body, and as well as reduce inflammation, burn calories, and improve quality of life. So, I mean, those are some pretty significant claims and significant changes that you can do really by just sitting there, I mean, and pushing that beautiful button that says weight loss or detoxification or pain relief, and let all of the energy levels do their thing. And so those are some of the results we've seen. We've also seen a lot of great results with skin because of the near infrared LEDs. So it really helps to accelerate cell turnover and repair the skin and give it that beautiful glow that it deserves to have. And that's really been helpful. We've seen a lot of scar lightening and people who've had surgeries. We've had somebody who had a gallbladder removed and they had their scars lessened with using our technology. And then we also did a study at Auburn University on joint flexibility and improving the agility of the body. So a lot of athletes are now using it for muscle recovery to help, or as well as the aging population, just having, aches and pains as you age. This helps to reduce that inflammation and get your body feeling healthier and younger.
And it's great for circulation too. I know a lot of people that are diabetic or they're older or congestive heart failure or anything like that. They just don't have enough circulation. The sauna is so amazing for that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I always feel when I get done with a session, I feel that I've really moved. Even though I haven't really moved my body, I feel as though my body is moving and I'm getting more oxygen. My head, that's the biggest thing I noticed when we first started developing and fine-tuning our technology. When we finally hit that button of getting the most amount of far infrared, my head just felt so much clearer after a session. I'm just like that whole mind mess that goes on in our busy lives. We're all so busy doing many, many different things. At the end of a day, you're just like, oh my gosh, what did I do today? And then I would take a session and I would just feel like, just totally removed. My head was clear. I could think again. So I'm really more effective after using one of our Sunlighten products than if I don't use it.
Yeah, I love to finish my day with getting into a sauna and just, getting rid of all the toxins that I encountered and all the current toxins that I have that accumulate over decades in our body.
Yeah.
And can we talk a little about that, about how many toxins we have in our body and that we encounter? And it's really scary when you start thinking about it. But what's great is with using an infrared sauna, you have control. You can get all these toxins out of your body and improve your health.
Absolutely. And we have a doctor here that's local that has found that when using a Sunlighten regularly, you're removing stuff that they didn't even know, he didn't even think was even in their body, and would call me up and say, "You're not even going to believe all the stuff that I'm pulling out that is just trapped, like you said, over time." And if you're not actively doing something to purge your body and to cleanse it, then it just gets stored. And that's why a lot of people are really tired, or they get headaches frequently, or nausea, or, lots of different conditions, inflammation. It's because they are so full of toxic elements and they're not doing anything. And Sunlighten offers an easy solution. I mean, it's not hard to sit in there for, 30 to 40 minutes a day, or even once a week is better than not doing it at all.
And it's so relaxing and pleasurable. It's just such a great way to detox. And the CDC has established we have 700 chemicals on average in our body. They do a study about every 5 years that establishes the chemical levels that people have. And even people live in remote regions, the Inuit Indians in the Arctic, they have 70 chemicals in their breast milk. Doesn't matter where you live. You can't escape.
Can't get away from it. I know.
Yeah.
No matter what you do.
Yeah. And so I personally believe the people that do an infrared sauna on a regular basis, they're the only ones that are going to be having really healthy quality of life, disease-free, without medications, without that doctor revolving door at the doctor's office that so many people beginning in their 40s and 50s are dealing with these days.
Yeah, I completely agree. I completely agree. And I mean, I find a big, huge difference. Like if I'm all on the road or I'm traveling and I'm not using my Sunlighten regularly, I come back and I'm like, oh my goodness, I really need, like my body is craving it. You know, you get in those healthy habits, which I love. Your body starts to crave those healthy habits and you notice when you miss it. And so when I get back, like that's one of the first things that I do is go downstairs and turn it on. And it's like, oh, yes. You know, my body is just like, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I've been doing saunas for years, and I can't imagine not doing them. I can't imagine living my life without, regular sauna use. Absolutely not.
Yes. Yeah, me either.
And so and one thing also, a point I wanted to make was that a lot of people, a lot of my clients, even myself, go to their doctor and talk about infrared sauna or detoxification, and they're just like, your body detoxes, you don't need to do anything to
Mm.
detox your liver and your kidneys, and I mean, they're detoxing all the time. You don't need to do anything beyond that. And that is crazy. That person, if anyone says that to you, they have no clue what they're talking about, because we are so bombarded with metals and chemicals that our bodies are not equipped. They're not evolutionarily designed to handle the load of toxins that we have in our body. And so we have to use tools like infrared saunas to assist our bodies and give our livers a break to be able to cleanse our bodies of these toxins.
Yeah, and you notice a big difference in how you feel. I mean, that's always my thing is, I mean, I'm a big skeptic by nature, and so I remember forever ago, it seems like when we first started this, my brother said, "Oh my goodness, I feel so much better," and I'm like, "Yeah, well, yeah, whatever," like it's just like, I'm very skeptical, and then, I started doing it, and then I started researching and trying to figure out how, like, with the first evolution of farm fed saunas way back when, there was just a little bit of farm fed. I'm like, well, what happens if we could just get like almost all of it in this right precise wavelength? And so that's what we focused on. And my validation is how I feel afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
and how just like I said, mentally and my entire body. And I also do, we haven't talked about this, but one of my favorite enhancements that I use in our product is called acoustic resonance therapy. And I don't know if you've had a chance to use that. Oh my goodness, it is like a lifesaver for me with just everything that's going on, because it enhances, it gets me to that, from that, oh my gosh, like I should be doing other things, to, oh, I'm so glad I'm here, because it's combines sound and vibration, and it uses it together, and the sound waves that are underneath the bench, and then you listen to this beautiful acoustic music, and it pulsates just a little bit, very gently, and your shoulders start to drop and your neck starts to loosen up, and then you just forget, like, all about all the things you didn't do for that day, because it
Yes.
doesn't matter anyway. you know and so that's another thing that's great about using a Sunlighten sauna, is you can not only use and get the healing wavelengths from the energy, from the infrared, but you can also add on enhancements that help with your brain and with your mood, and just with your overall stress, to help enhance the experience.
I think that's absolutely incredible, because one of the reasons that I use an infrared sauna is because it helps to activate your parasympathetic nervous system to relax you. And for me and a lot of people, they're very much in their sympathetic, fight or flight mode in their nervous
Right.
system, and they can't calm down, and the infrared sauna at the end of the day really helps me to just bring everything down, and the components with the light and sound that you're talking about just would absolutely enhance that experience so much more. And people need that. Stress kills. It's the underlying
Right.
cause of our health issues, and you've got to get that under control using every biohacking tool that in your arsenal that you can muster. And I think saunas are a great way to reduce stress.
I completely agree. Completely. And like, I don't think, like, I used to think, I can just do it all myself, and, I can handle it. I don't need any other tool. I don't need all of that stuff. And now I think, why wouldn't you? If you have it available to you and it's safe and natural and has been proven for many, many years to help, the mind, the body, the brain, and as well as just improve the immune system. I mean, and you know, I am extremely healthy. I mean, the way I've been able to fight off, I have two little kids who bring home anything that comes around, and but I am positive because I'm a regular user of my Sunlighten that it's helped keep me from getting sick and fighting off disease. And so I think people should, time is something you don't get more of, so you might as well use it wisely and be efficient about it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. When my daughter, I have a 6-year-old, is constantly bringing
Oh,
home
I have a
germs and
6-year-old too.
yeah, yeah,
That's
and
so cool.
they pick up a lot of stuff. They pick up a lot of germs.
I know.
And when I was getting sick a lot prior to using a sauna, and when I was doing a sauna on a regular basis, it heats up your body. It induces
Right.
this fever, this faux fever, just like your body would use to kill off infections. And can you talk a little about that, about the benefits of that heat in killing off any kind of infection you have in your body?
Yeah, and there's been a lot of research with all three wavelengths, the far, the mid, and the near, but especially in the mid-infrared range, with the way that you're getting such intense energy into your body, and you're essentially changing the cells that are in there that could be have disease and getting them out of your body. So you're forcing yourself to be healthier, and intense sweat and intense increased core temperature over time. Tons of studies have shown, if you give yourself, hyperthermia, you're going to be able to ward off lots of different conditions because they can't thrive in heat inside your body. And so that's something that we offer, that we can give you, that you can do in the comfort of your own home, as much as you're comfortable doing, and stay, healthier. So especially in the school systems. I don't know if your daughter goes to a public school, but I mean, I tell you, it's just, I read to the kindergartners last year, and every single Thursday morning, like there were sniffles, and the whole time I'm like, oh my gosh, like, but we were able as a family to stay, healthy. And as soon as my child started anything, I'm like, okay, let's go downstairs, let's get in the sauna. Because even for them, just a couple of minutes, they don't need the amount of time that we need as adults, but a couple of minutes makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and can you talk about parasites and mold and other kinds of infections like that, and how the sauna helps that?
What we have found is that the wavelength, particularly, we think it's a blend of all three, the far, mid, and the near, but there's a lot of data too with just the far, which is the deepest wavelength. It really helps to push out the toxic elements specifically that are related to mold. We're looking into a study right now with a couple of doctors, but they've done their own studies with using our product, and they've done the panels before and after, and they've found that in the urine, when they've done testing afterwards, that there's removal of toxins that are specifically connected to mold.
Yeah, and that's so important. I think so many people are exposed to mold and are not aware of it.
And they don't even know it, right?
They live in I live in an old home, and I know there's all kinds of mold over here, but I get an infrared sauna, and I don't believe I have any problems with it because of that. But a lot of people are very, very sick with mold and are not aware of it. So it's almost like it doesn't matter what the problem is, that an infrared sauna will help no matter what it is, whether you have, talk about Lyme disease. How does an infrared sauna help with that?
Yeah, Dr. Klinghardt, I don't know if you know Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt in Washington, but he has been working with us, gosh, for probably 12 years. And he has done his own, studies with his patients and found that's part of his arsenal for treating Lyme. I mean, he does all these different things, and then using a Sunlighten regularly a couple times a week, 45 minutes is paramount. And I mean, he sends everybody home, saying you have to do this when you can't, you can use it here in my clinic, but once you go home, I mean, you have to start, using it regularly. And there's lots of Lyme experts who endorse that same regimen. I mean, that same protocol is using a Sunlighten regularly. I will say, along with the mold, you made me think of the materials we use in a Sunlighten is very different than Amazon and some of those other things we talked about. I mean, it really is what makes Sunlighten special is we are a full service wellness company. So we are dedicated to make the healthiest product possible. It's the most effective and most efficient, but it's also healthiest with all of our materials too, because we're in this to leave the world a healthier place. So we want to make sure that our components, our fibers, the wood we use, every choice that we make in putting this product together is going to be safe, and natural, because our end goal is to push everything out and make you a healthier person. And a lot of materials, as can be harmful, or even just some people who are extremely sensitive. The wrong, you know, glue can cause all sorts of issues. And so, or the wrong wood. There's lots of woods out there. There's one wood that we used to use years ago because we were trying to find a way to bring a product to market that was a little bit less expensive. Well, you know what? There's a price to pay for that. I mean, the wood had a fragrance. The fragrance causes issues. If the wood gives off a fragrance, especially when it's heated, there's people that are sensitive to that. That gets into your body. If you're not getting it out, it stays in there. And so it's really important when you're doing this. If you have mold or you have Lyme, I mean, you be very wise in your choice that you're putting into your body, you're exposing your body to, and you're choosing to be with a product that is safe, and be helpful to your body. Yeah, and that's what Sunlighten offers.
Yeah, because when I see some of these saunas on Amazon or at your membership clubs, the far infrared sauna for $1,000,
right.
I always look, where is it made? And if it's
right.
made in China, I get a little bit wary because I start thinking, okay, maybe some toxic wood, toxic glue, EMF, and there's a lot of different things that go in, things you have to think about that go into building of a sauna that can negatively impact your health, when the whole point, everything you're trying to do is to improve your health. Can you talk a little bit about the problem of EMFs when it comes to saunas and how some saunas can really give off a lot of electromagnetic fields?
Yeah. Well, when we started the company, that was one of the first things we addressed when we were putting our product together. It was, we had this conduit, how we shielded everything. But then we found over time there was other ways to eliminate, well, you can't really eliminate, but to prevent as much as possible, right? And so we've developed a way to counteract as much as possible the electromagnetic field. So it's virtually non-existent. When you're in there, you're not going to have a ton of rays coming at you, and that's really important. And that's what we stand for, is making sure that it's safe for you. And you don't want, there's lots of product that is just put together to be put together and shipped to you, and that's just not how we do business. We do business because we really want to make you feel better and be healthier, and we care deeply about the materials, the off-gassing, the EMFs, and everything that's in the sauna. And so we want to leave the world a healthier place.
So what's involved with incorporating a sauna into one's home? Because, it's and definitely an investment to buy a sauna. And so how do you guys exactly incorporate that into one's home? Like for me, I have my sauna in my living room. I like to give out my living room.
That's awesome.
So, can we talk about that?
Yeah. So, you can put it anywhere. That's a great thing. But we have products for all sizes, all rooms. I mean, we have a pad. You can start off with just like, something that you can put on your bed. And then we have a portable unit, and we have them all the way up to, a very large product that you can put anywhere. I mean, well, not anywhere, but you can put it where you have the space or outside. But what's really important, I'm so glad you asked that question, because so many people have this perception that this is this piece of equipment that I have to renovate my house for. And you don't have to do that. I mean, it's a modular unit. I call it it's like Legos for adults, right? It's like you have a base and you put the walls together and bam, plug it in, and you've got yourself this beautiful Sunlighten healing sanctuary. And you can put it anywhere as long as you have the electrical needs, and that just depends on the size. It goes together. I'm here in my office. I mean, I have a space right over there by my window I could put it, and just plug it into the wall. It's really, really, it's much less cumbersome than people think it is. They really think that there's just huge project and I have to hire all these people. And it comes in some boxes and you just put it together with a friend and you're good to go an hour later.
Yeah, I love that you guys have the unit where you can just lay on it and it kind of folds up. And it's so important because a lot of my clients, they live in Manhattan or little tiny apartments in Europe or whatnot. And they don't have room for big saunas. So there is, I love that you guys make a product for that or for a 10-person sauna, say
Yeah,
at a professional
party.
facility, or you have a big family, you can all
Right.
get in there and get healthy together.
Right, exactly. We wanted to make sure that at Sunlighten it was a one-stop shop. So we had everything. You didn't have to just come to us for like most the largest, for one type of person. We have built it for everything from, small little pad, small little unit, all the way up. And we talked a lot about Impulse, which is the 3-in-1, which is, my personal favorite because it has all three wavelengths. However, we also still have the far infrared, just that the far infrared alone. So if you like for Lyme and for mold removal, a lot of people that have those specific conditions don't necessarily need the mid infrared and the near infrared. What they really need is that consistent increase of core temperature, that really burst of sweat and get as much out of their body, and that's perfectly fine to get in the solo or the signature. Those are our brand names for the far infrared, and that's all they need, and that's perfectly fine. They don't need all the others, so we really go the gamut.
Yeah. So, is there a certain protocol to follow when taking a session? I get this question a lot. How do I do the sauna? What do I do before and after the sauna? Can you give us some tips?
Yeah. What most importantly, Wendy, is hydration. I mean, very, very, very important. So, always have water before because you really want to get as much into your body, and then always after. Always. There you go.
Hmm.
So that's the most important part of the whole program. If you can do it a couple times of the week, do it for 40 minutes. If you're using the solo or signature, if you're using the 3-in-1, the impulse, there are 6 different programs. And my recommendation is follow the program because it's designed to have the right delivery mechanism of each wavelength. And so there's cardio, pain relief, anti-aging, detox, weight loss, and relaxation. And depending on what you're looking for, just press that button and you're good to go. And that's your protocol. But most importantly, hydration. I can't stress that enough because you think in your head intuitively, oh, this is, I'm just sitting here, it's passive, but it's intense. I mean, this is like intense therapy and you need to take care of the hydration in your body. And because most people are dehydrated anyway, and then you go in there and do that, you have to be careful.
Yeah, because you're losing a lot of water and electrolytes, and I find
Right.
I crave coconut water like
I
nobody's
do. Oh, that's
business.
awesome.
Yeah, like I
I love
have to
that.
drink coconut water after the sauna, and it's full of it's nature's Gatorade. It's full of lots of electrolytes,
Yeah.
so I just replace those. And I think it's really important to take minerals too when you're doing sauna every day. You got to replace those minerals.
Yeah.
And so, where can people find your products and go to purchase?
Yeah, they can just call. They can go to our website, sunlighten.com. We have experts here. If we had a camera, I'd show you everybody. um, and they can call us. I can give you our phone number.
Yeah,
It's
please.
it's 877-292-0020. And then when you get to the menu, you press whichever area you're looking for, either residential or commercial. We have different teams that are specialized to meet the consumer's needs, and we'll guide you through. I mean, it's a team of experts who are highly trained and are extremely passionate. You'll find for helping your customers, and yeah, and you just will give you put you on the road to a healthier place.
And I think it's so important for everyone to get into a sauna. Buy one. I mean, I think it's important to buy one for your home because you really need to do one on a near daily basis. You really do, especially when you're starting out. You got a lot of toxins in you, and it's going to take time to get all those out, and then you have to do maintenance for the rest of your life. And
Right.
this
And be
is
patient, right? Like that's the thing that I would like, sorry to interrupt you there, but
yeah.
it's when you're saying that, I was just thinking of people, today they just want everything so fast. And we're going to get you there. And I agree, they should use it every day. And you use your sunlight every day, and you're going to be a healthier person. But just be patient because it took a while to get everything trapped, inside your body. It's going to take a little bit. We get calls. Oh, I've used my Sunlighten for a couple of days, and like I'm not 50 pounds lighter. I'm like, it's going to didn't take you 3 days to put on the 50 pounds. It's going to take a little bit of time, And so just if you have that mindset and you just make it a habit and part of your lifestyle, you'll be much happier because you won't be so just in a hurry, and it'll just be something that you do every day. And before you know it, you'll be feeling dramatically different.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it was so important because, see, I had a really close friend of mine that died on my birthday on August 5th of cancer. And one of
I'm
the reasons,
sorry.
yeah, and it's really sad. And my father died of cancer. And for me, my passion is getting the word out about the importance of detoxing your bodies. And the infrared sauna, the Sunlighten sauna, is one of the key things, one of the number one things that you have to do to prevent preventable disease. And all the cancer rates are going up, and autoimmune disease and high blood pressure and heart disease, and so many of these have the underlying root causes are toxic metals and chemicals and glyphosate that's in all the non-organic food. And you have to get into a sauna and sweat these out if you're going to live a long, healthy life. And I cannot stress that enough, how important it is.
Yeah, I completely agree. People just need to make it a habit.
Yeah, and so what do you think is the most pressing health issue in the world today? It's a question I like to ask all of my guests and kind of pick their brain about
Oh,
what they think
wow.
is so important in the world that people need to be thinking about.
I think um, slowing down. I think it's the whole stress ball. I feel like that is one of the things that is going to cause many, many problems is people are just doing so much, and everybody is just like, the longer I live, the more tightly wound everybody seems to be, and they're not doing anything to unwind and to loosen all of that up, on a regular basis. And I think that, like you said it beautifully, you said, stress kills. And so I think that what I have found when I go down, I keep saying downstairs, but it's kind of in my house, our Sunlighten is down in our gym. When I go in there and I'm in there, like always, the same thing that I think in the first 10, 15 minutes, I'm like, God, this is priceless. Like this time where I am deep breathing, I'm sweating, I am purging, I feel like I'm cleaning my body all over, and I'm starting over, for the next day, because the next day is going to have all sorts of stress and, everything as well. I feel like I am daily unwinding, and I'm making that part, and not to get back to me specifically, I didn't mean to do that, but I was just thinking of the number one thing I see out there that that worries me and that I'm trying to protect my children from is just that over stress. And so if you're going to do that, and I think a lot of people aren't going to change, I think people just are going to continue to put more and more stuff on themselves. Okay, so if you're going to do that, then what tools, what are you going to have in your arsenal to help you manage with it if you're not going to do without it?
Yeah, and I just can't even stress enough how much the sauna helps me to de-stress every night. And a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have time. I'm too busy. But, you can do 20 minutes. You can do
Right.
15 minutes. Any amount once a
Any.
week.
Yeah.
Anything is good, and it doesn't have to be a waste of time. I'd like to sometimes I sit there and meditate, or
Right.
you can do yoga, you can get on social media, you can call
Right.
mom, you can read a book, you can spend that time in whatever way you choose. You're kind of just sitting there, and I think it's more beneficial to meditate and, clear your mind when
Right.
you're doing it, but you can do whatever you want in there. It doesn't have to be a waste of time.
Right. And we have a tablet inside the same tablet that uses the programs where there's media use. So you can like something if I'm not using my acoustic resonance therapy where I'm like really like meditating, then I will use Pandora or I'll use some other types of mechanisms to just completely, just chill out or enjoy a music that I don't ever get to listen to. Just something that is different, that kind of I look at it as it's my reset button. And so to me, it's giving me back time. It's not spending time or wasting time. I mean, it's making my time more valuable because I'm putting more back into my me bucket. And if I don't have my me bucket isn't filled, then everybody's is empty in my
Yeah. If
house.
mama's not happy, nobody's happy.
Nobody's
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I just love ending my day in the sauna, and it's just one of the most precious gifts that I give to myself, and it's just the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
tell the listeners more about you, and where they can find you, and if they want to learn more about infrared saunas and sunlight and saunas.
Yeah. So Sunlighten is based in Overland Park, Kansas, and right in the heart of the Midwest. And if anybody is listening that is anywhere near us, we would love to have people come visit us. We love our local community, and I myself live here as well, and have my business with my husband, who is my business partner. And like I said, I have two kids, a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, first grade and third grade. And as far as the listeners on Sunlighten, if they want to get in contact with us, what I'd love to do for your listeners is if they contact us, we'll give them a special gift with purchase. And that will change depending on what's going on. But we always have other products that we are developing that enhance or maintain their experience. So it would be something along that line. And just go to the website, sunlight.com, call us at 877-292-0020, and we'll take care of you. We would love to have the opportunity to serve your listeners.
Well, Connie, thank you so much for coming on the
Thank you, Wendy.
podcast.
I'm so glad we finally connected.
Yes, I really, really appreciate it. And I just love everything you're doing and that you represent. And, I
Feeling is
love that you're getting this word out about saunas. We need to get them in every home.
Yes, yes. Well, I love the work that you're doing, and I hope to see you live soon.
Yes. Well, everyone, thank you again for listening to the Live to 110 podcast. You can learn more about, healing your health conditions naturally. Definitely infrared sauna use is a part of that. You can learn more about at live to110.com, and check out my healing and detox program, mineralpower.com, which infrared saunas are a vital component to that program. And again, thank you so much for listening. Have a fantastic day.